Hi guys, it's Doremar Nuva here, and welcome to another Bionicle 2015 set review. Hi guys, Doremar Nuva here, and welcome to my Bionicle 2015 set reviews. Today we'll be going over set number 70784, Lewa, the Master of Jungle. This set was released in early 2015, and at time of release retailed for around about $20 Australian and contained approximately 85 pieces. So before we can get into the set, take a look at probably the most boring part of the set review, the box. It's a box, picture on front, pictures on back, comic, one-to-one thing of the masks is the same size. Yeah, it looks about right. And, you know, don't need parts, don't have enough alpha, blah 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 blah. If, European version, so no piece count. If you want to have a more in-depth look at the box, check out my build-up and unboxing. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get right into the set. So right off the bat we can see it's definitely an upgrade from Lewa's Martyr version, back in 2001. Not only has he grown larger, he's gotten another axe, knees and elbows, actual head articulation, and essentially much more armour. He's also got a brand new mirror, which for those of you who don't know, is his mask. So let's take a look at that one first, and then we'll get the trinkets out of the way and off to the side. So, yeah. The new mask, seems to take inspiration from Lewa's Martyr version, his Nuva version, and then his Fantoka release, which unfortunately I do not have the Nuva and Fantoka here with me, so we'll just be looking at the Martyr version. So right off the bat you can see the similarities, the same sort of general shape, the gaps here and here, and the general sort of angled sort of look, which is quite nice. Let's pop both of them right back on. Another similarity is the axe. And it's a very nice touch that we've got axes now. So there's Toa Lewa Martyr off to the side, and we'll get right into the trinkets here. So it comes with the Skull Spider, Metru Blue, 5-piece villain, conflict in the box, quite nice. Off to the side for the moment. It also comes with the Golden Mirror, or the Golden Mask of Jungle. This is really nice to see it's included with the set, because back in 2001 we had to search for these in individually packed blind mask boxes, which was quite a hassle. It's nice to see that we get them straight up. Anyway, let's put this off to the side for the moment. Right, so here we have the set, and boy, what a set. As Lewa's always been my favourite Toa, I really like this new set, and as always these are just opinions. If you have a different one, let me know in the comments, I want to hear them. Alright, so let's jump right into the pros. Pros. New build. He's taller, he's much bigger. As you can see, if I stand him up, he doesn't all fit in the camera anywhere. So, yeah, so he's nice and large. Another pro is that he still seems quite sort of slim for the most part, and very much retains a lot of his Toa of Air characteristics, despite now being retconned into being jungle. Now, another pro is the return of Keat Orange. We haven't seen this colour for a long time, and it's great to see it back. Another pro, printed chest piece rather than stickers. That's nice to see, and it's just nice to see that adds a bit more flavour. Another pro, consistent colour scheme. It's made up primarily of lantern green, Keat orange, and silver, with highlights here and there with gunmetal and black. So that's really nice to see. Another pro would be articulation. Standard 3 in the legs, 3 in the arms, and 1 in the head. another pro would be these friction joints. This is the smallest Bionicle set you can get these friction joints in, and overall they're a really nice piece, and they're great. A great help. Another pro, back armor. We don't see this a lot in Bionicle, and it seems to be that most of the protectors in the Toa seem to have some this time round, which is really nice. Now another pro will be the functions, of which Lewa has approximately 3. The first being a gear function. Yes, you heard me right, gear functions are back! You turn this knob back here, this yellow one, and his arms will strike like this. That's quite nice to see that gear functions are back. What's more, with posability, these extra friction gears in here mean that while the gear function will still function as a gear function, you can also move his arms around and pose them, and they will stay there. Move them up, you can move them down, you can move them out, and they won't just flop around, which is really, really nice to see. Okay. The second function would be his mask function. If you press down this back here, the mask will pop off. At least it's supposed to. With Lewa, it's rather touchy. Anyway, the mask does pop off. And of course then you can affix the skull spider to his face, which, again, as part of that function, the legs can wrap around the back of the head, and that prevents it from knocking the skull spider off. Now, in all the promo images and everything, it says to wrap these legs around the face as well. It can't work. It does not work. The legs do not fit around his head. Mind you, I reckon leaving him out like that looks quite cool anyway. Off to the side again, and let's replace his Miru with the golden Miru, and let's put him into his adrenaline mode, which is the third function, dual weapons. Now this adrenaline mode, you take these axe pieces off and attach them to his arms like that, with the yellow part pointing up. You do that for both arms, and you leave these sword blades where they are. And the idea with this is that puts him into what is now called the X glider. And the idea is to put the arms out like this and angle this in to touch his legs down here, which is exactly the same as his Nuva version. And this creates what is called the X glider. It's like a glider sort of thing, and is really cool. These in particular, this is the same thing as what happened in the Toa Nuva in 2003. It's amazing. It's brilliant to see, and looks really cool and functions rather well. You can't quite tilt his head up, but you know, it functions really well. I love this feature. It's great. And when he lands, if you want to leave him like that, you still have these swords you can use. But yeah, so that there is really great. Yeah, return of the 2003 dual weapons functions. It's amazing. Yeah. So let me just put these back on his hands like this. There we go. Let's place him down here. Now there's a bit of confusion about which one is adrenaline mode, like this or the other way, because in the promotional advertisements, he became this way after he got his golden mask. Now, a bit of controversy about this. I don't know how it works. I don't know the exact story behind it. We're just going to call his X glider his adrenaline mode for the moment. So that about sums it up for most of the pros. So now, as with any set, unfortunately there are cons. So without any further ado, we'll jump right into them. Firstly, straight off the bat, include these red pins up here, which I don't know if you can see it very well up here, which is incredibly obnoxious, and it's easy to see if you take the mask off in there. Now, I know it's a bit of a nitpick, but it does really stand out, and it breaks the colour scheme. Speaking of breaking colour schemes, another con, this lime green on his chest piece is the only lime green on him anywhere, which I guess sort of breaks the colour scheme. Also, some people may not like the fact that this gold mask, he has no gold anywhere else on him. Personally, I don't consider it to be a con. considering that it's meant to be special and different, and not meant to be part of his colour scheme. Another con some people may have is the fact that there are yellow bits everywhere. Now these are meant to designate functions to kids as turn here or move this and it will do something. However, it is still a con. Another big con is these open ball joints on either side of his torso. That's unfortunate and definitely a con. Now, another con we have is that the back armor is not very good. It is quite gappy in here and sort of doesn't cover much. Another con, some people may not like the kit orange, and again it's personal preference. Now, a really big con that a lot of people may consider is the fact that it is a CCBS build, which a lot of people do not like CCBS. I personally love CCBS, but it is still a con because some people do not like it. Here's the biggest con of them all with Lewa, and is definitely a point of contention with a lot of people, is the fact that, hold on, I'll just replace his mask with the green mirror. There is practically no head articulation. The way the gearbox is built in here means the head this is as far up as the head can go. Which, for a tower of jungle and who can fly, you can't really have him in any poses like this with his head facing up. And from side to side it can go about there. Let me try. I can get it over here, but it's limited by these sort of pieces just here. And on the other side it's about the same. Yes, that's a really big con. Also the fact that if you put the head back, you can't use this function. On that note, some people consider the mask, that function to be a con, as it makes the mask really loose. Anyway, back to the head articulation. Now this is unfortunate, and it seems like it could have been fixed really, really easily. Now, I'm not normally going to do this, but for the sake of Lewa being my favourite tower, and the fact that this really bugs me a bit, here's something that I've seen done that can help with two cons actually, the head articulation and these open ball joints in here. What you do, you take the gearbox and rip his chest out. Take the gearbox and pop the gearbox off, and turn these out while you're doing it, it's easier to do, and just drop the gearbox down 2 pegs into the next slot it can fit into, and put it on there. These then slide back over these open ball joints, which doesn't stress them, they fit quite nicely over it, and it then sits like that. And where is his mask? Here it is. Put his mask back on, look in there. So not only does this cover the ball joints, it means that you now have a full range of head articulation. In fact, you can even put his head looking up, like that, which is quite nice for flying poses. Now, I don't know why they haven't done this. It also puts his arms down and creates a much slimmer, sort of more compact look. I don't know why they haven't done this. So, personally, I like this build. I also see merits in the other build, in particular these are up higher and this doesn't drop down as low. But I think sort of the merits of this one sort of outweigh the cons of it. But for the sake of the review and being out of the box accurate, I'm going to pop that back up there and get on with the review as the out of the box set. So yeah. So that just about. The other con people may have is that Lewa doesn't get his own weapons. Most of the tower, most of the tower this wave have gotten their own unique weapons. Lewa and Gali and Tahu and Kopaka share weapons, which is unfortunate. And the final con, some people may consider these open Technic pins here to be a con. Personally, I wouldn't really count it because they have to be there for the function to work, but they may be considered a con. So that pretty much sums it up for the pros and the cons of the set. It's a pretty good set. And now for a very interesting part, and probably the major pro of having both the Tower of Jungle and the Protector of Jungle, which I'll jump in just here, and that is the Combiner model. So they do indeed have a Combiner model, and this is quite nice, and hasn't really been seen for quite a long time in Bionicle. So, without any further ado, let's get right into it. First, you take Lewa, you replace his mirror with the golden mirror, which fits right on there like that. You then take his axe blades and fit them onto his arms, just like in adrenaline mode. For both arms, they just clip right on, and you then remove these the lower half of the axes, and you just put them aside. They're not used again. Now, once you have him here, you then take the Protector of Jungle. You take these little tails from his feet, and you add them to Lewa's feet, just here, on both sides. It's interesting, has a little bit of colour. Definitely goes well with the jungle vibe. It's rather nice. You then take the Protector's armour add-ons from his shoulder piece and his chest torso piece there, and you put these on Lewa's upper arms there and there. Bulks him out a little bit. And then finally you take the Protector's weapon and you unclip it from his hands, like that and like that, and you give it to Lewa. Now you just plug his hand in to that one and his other hand into that one. Now and so there you have Lewa in full combination or power up mode. Looks pretty cool. It's definitely more of a crossbow with Lewa than a bow, as it is with the Protector, as it's not a Toa sized weapon. It's definitely a Protector sized weapon. So there you have Lewa. You also have the Protector, who, although now seems to be defenseless and has much less armor, this is, I think, one of the only two combination models that has spare weapons, which you can give to the Protector, which I'm going to proceed to do so right now. Just to not leave him defenseless. It's not. I think Anua and the Protector of Earth are the only other ones that have weapons left over, or anything like that. That's rather nice. Anyway, putting off to the side, now Lewa is here, he's ready to fight off those skull spiders. Now, this is rather nice to see. We haven't had combinations for a while. These lime green tails sort of balance out a little bit the lime green on his chest here, although there's still not really enough of it to call it a highlight or anything like that. The weapon's definitely a nice change, it's interesting. The armour bulks him out a bit. Some people may like it, some people may not. So it's pretty nice, and although the weapon is in fact too small for him. Anyway, so that just about sums up my my review of Toa Lewa. It's quite a nice set. I personally love it. I reckon it's a great continuation of the Lewas, and I'll pop Mighty Lewa back in here as well, just for the comparison. And there we have it. That is Toa Lewa, the Master of Jungle. If you liked this video, comment, rate, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. If you think I missed anything, or there's something I should have covered that I didn't, please let me know in the comments. I really do want to know. So yeah, that's about that. And join me next time when I go over set number 70783, the Protector of Fire. Anyhow, this is Doremar Nuva, signing off.